Fun fact, Corsola received one of the largest buffs in the 7th generation, if not one of the largest buffs ever in Pokemon, so receiving plus 10 to its hit points, defense, and special defense, which is why it's extra fun that we now have a Corsola submission for Fan Fridays. So the overall team right here, it's not just like Corsola comes in and then stalls or tanks and sweeps or something. It looks like there's going to be a little bit of setup that gets the Corsola going. There's also an Arcanine, Bayonet, some fun and interesting matchup stuff going on as well. I don't think I've seen the Bayonet versus Cloyster. I think it's safe to say that about a lot of Pokemon matchups because there's just so many Pokemon out there. But Bayonet versus Cloyster, Cloyster gets the setup. Depending if like the Bayonet's offensive or not, I feel like just the Will-O-Wisp is a very free, safe thing that most Bayonet are going to run anyways. So you Will-O-Wisp the setup, Cloyster isn't as effective, and then Bayonet can like swing for damage if it needs to. But since this is like a Corsola feature, I'm guessing there's going to be a little bit more setup involved. And of course, that is going to be the Cloyster going for the Shell Smash. And then another thing about the Cloyster is like, are we going to see the White Herb or is it just going to be Focus Sash? I'm honestly a larger fan of the Focus Sash on the Cloyster because it just makes less counterplay, and no White Herb kind of hints that could be the case. So that is going to be Trick Room from the Bayonet, just like Mega into the Trick Room, and then utilizing that Prankster to go and burn the Cloyster. So that's going to shut down a lot from the Cloyster, and then we're going to see Payback. I'm actually really a fan of that tech. Like, that is some very nifty stuff from that Cloyster that we don't see that. I don't think I've ever seen the Payback Cloyster before, but it gives the damage against ghost types. And also, in this Prankster case, it's actually really weird because Payback deals double damage, so going from 50 base power to 100 base power if it moves after the opponent. So yeah, even with that burn, still able to 2-hit KO, so finding the damage on a very interesting amount of tech right there. So now Corsola comes in, so the opponent's burned, doesn't have optimized damage. Corsola also creates that barrier, so going to go for doubling on that defense right there under the Trick Room. So Trick Room into Corsola. Is that what it needs, guys? And then Smart Strike. Wow. This Cloyster is showing like tech and coverage like we've never seen before, but it's not really enough because, yeah, it's a Water Rock type, so that Smart Strike not going to be super damaging or even super effective, but then also Cloyster doesn't have too many other options as well. So Calm Mind, Corsola as well. This is good. This is actually really nice on that setup because unkillable defensively, gaining on that special defense, and by the time Twisted Dimensions return to normal, it's too late for the opponent. So the opponent trying to respond with some more Shell Smashing. And the thing is, even if Cloyster goes for the max on that Shell Smash, it's only going to bring him to double because the way that this diminishing returns on stat gains plus the flat reduction on something like a burn, it's going to be just fine. And then Corsola, it already has what it needs with that barrier, and it's like no damage is happening. And if the opponent goes for another Shell Smash, that is super risky because then you're at super low defenses. You just get one shot anyway. So Cloyster going to use Payback. Reduce damage. So, I mean, this Smart Strike was better in that case. Corsola getting the free setup with the barrier. So we have this crazy, scary, sweeping Pokemon. You know, even without the burn, Cloyster wouldn't be able to do much to this Corsola. And Corsola is just getting free, easy setup against it. And Corsola's just going to take this to go all the way home. Like, you know, you're at the state where you use a special attack, and then Cloyster immediately dies. Already has a low amount of special defense. It's already cut it because of the Shell Smash. And the burn is already chipped in incredible amounts of damage. So, not incredible, but, you know, good damage. Like, oh, that's surprisingly lots of damage just from burn. And the opponent might be hacking if he's got that shiny Blacephalon into the shiny Cloyster as well. You know, full shiny team, always suspicious, guys. Especially with the recent accusations, VGC just flooded with hackers confirmed. Corsola's finally gonna turn something around, and Blacephalon with the Dark Pulse. But we've already been boosting special defense, so Blacephalon finding some damage, not gonna be enough. And the Scald, massive KO onto Blacephalon. So I was wondering, like, how do you finish a KO with the Corsola? Where's the damage on this thing? Well, it looks like we found it, and it looks like we're just shutting down a hacker. They thought they'd be able to beat a Corsola, and that ain't happening today. Z-move on the Corsola as well? I guess since we haven't seen the leftovers, it makes sense. What is this going to be? Unleashes the full Z-Force? Wow, it's actually a damaging move. We have a tank setup Corsola using a damaging... That is how confident this thing is in wanting to lay down the beatdown. And it's enough to one-shot the stack attack on that super effective hit after all the boosting. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then Cloyster comes in. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't just, like, beat it up as much now, but it's already lost a lot of health, and Corsola has done a lot of boosting, and it has low special attack, as I already talked about. It gave up all those stats. Scald comes in. I mean, yeah, there was just nothing that could be done about it. So, Corsola still finding a KO onto the Cloyster right there, and that's going to be the end of the battle. Okay, so the Calm Mind barrier, it works. It's like the inverse of the Curse Amnesia. We're just gaining different stats and using different moves. But overall, Corsola becomes very tough to KO and actually backs it up with a lot of damage. Let's get into the next battle. And now we have Corsola in the doubles. Also, there's a lot of electric hate on the opponent's side of the field, so this should be like a pretty good battle for the Corsola, or like a pretty bad battle, but if Corsola does good, that's a good battle to show off the Corsola. So, pretty nuts. Now, this is kind of a problem that Corsola is a water rock when you think about it. Just so many weaknesses. Grass, electric, ground fighting would be much better if it was a water ground Pokemon. Like, those Pokemon are just ridiculous. Only 4 times weakness to grass. This is a 4 times weakness to grass with other weaknesses as well. And Corsola's still hanging in there trying to do its best. Yeah, Battle Spot's just actually, this isn't even Battle Spot. This is just a Link battle, so not fun overall. So now we're going to see how this happens. Politoed sets up Drizzle. We got Drizzle. We also got the Electric Terrain. But Staraptor can just come in and wipe out a Pokemon immediately. So Final Gambit. That's what I feel like. You just bring in the Final Gambit Staraptor to remove a threat. Corsola gets free set up. People might want to try to focus the other Pokemon as well. So this is where we just find like how Corsola gets an in and what the opponent's going to do. Politoed with the Ice Beam going to try to do something to that Staraptor, but not. Corsola's the only one left, and Corsola takes no damage. So that's going to be a free Calm Mind right there. And that's another thing. You look at the opponent's team. They're going to be setting up the Kingdra. They're going to be setting up for electric type moves. So you might as well just go for that special defense, try to tank as much as possible. And now Raichu comes in. Raichu has that Surge Surfer, so it gets very scary, but that's why you bring in the Greninja. You know that Raichu, something electric's coming, they're going to want to focus down the Greninja, Corsola, or you bait the switch right there as well. Manectric, you got that Volt Absorb. Is it Lightning Rod? Or does it get both? I don't remember. Lightning Rod. Perfect. That actually, Lightning Rod makes a lot more sense because you're soaking in that hit. The super effective hit on the Corsola instead just powers up the Manectric. It doesn't even need to power up the Manectric. The Corsola is fine doing whatever without that Manectric gaining the stats. But now, Corsola also just going into the Z move because why not? It's raining. You got that stat. You got the damage amplification right there into the Z move, into the stab, into all those Calm Minds. You just KO this Raichu while you can. This is actually faster than anything I could have imagined on the Corsola. Because I'm like, oh, you just long stall, leftovers, maybe the Protect, you're just toxic and you drag it out. Now this Corsola's going to win. This Corsola wants the damage. This Corsola ends it before this Corsola doesn't make those unnecessary tank turns that kind of like annoy people where it's like, come on, you can just win by now. No, Corsola knows when to end it and just does it. And now we have Mega Manectric that's super fast and doing crazy damage. If there was physical Pokemon, that would also be pretty bad. Like Calm Mind, Intimidate, Barrier with anything that drops special attack. Like, it's looking pretty good for this Corsola overall. Politoed protects. Kingdra uses Yawn, Manectric. Oh, yeah, you can't be doing that. And then Kingdra just gets wrecked. That's the Volt Switch. I don't know if the Volt Switch was necessarily necessary because you already had the +1 stats, but I mean, you just nuke out the opponent anyway. So now Greninja is just chilling, and Corsola, there's the recover. So another thing that makes Corsola awesome. So we see the moveset right here. It's got Barrier, Calm Mind, Recover, and then Scald. And like, what else do you need? Sure, you get walled out by Water Absorb, but if you don't encounter a Water Absorb Pokemon, the battle's over. It's done. It's GG. Just like that. Let's go into another battle, because this is just exciting. I just like the outplays, man. Like, when you have fast Pokemon on your team next to a setup Pokemon, it just leads to so much outplay potential. And then also using the abilities, using everything, just get the opponent to respond poorly and then take it off and win. So good stuff right there. Let's go and see what's going to happen when Corsola's next to the Greninja. Is that a free map block turn? How are you going to expect the opponent to maybe go for setup right here? However, you know, Kartana might just want to take damage and remove the Greninja instantly. Boom, Greninja's got the map block. Done. Also, fighting type, going to keep Greninja safer against the Kartana, and that leaves Buzzwole with less options as well. So X-Scissor actually, okay, was aiming for the Kartana. That's going to be something. And then the Hammer Arm, that's going to be stopped as well. So Corsola gets a free barrier against these two physical Pokemon. Greninja opening it up right now, and then Greninja, what is it going to go through? That's the Ice Beam. All right, Kartana, it doesn't like any special attack, so even a neutral special attack from the Greninja on the Kartana, that's a KO. That's what it takes to KO. Greninja doesn't even have a lot of damage, and was able to find that KO, so that's pretty crazy stuff right there. Corsola avoids the Hammer Arm, happens, and then gets that Scald down, so it got the barrier. That's more damage I would ever expect Corsola to do to anything, you know? And then didn't get the burn, but a burn would have been ridiculous right there. And now we have Greninja. It's still outspeeding. It's just, this is how you support it. And then Corsola is still a threat. And the opponent's out of options already. The game's done. Greninja was just what was needed to take out a lot of what the opponent had. They tried to focus Corsola and it's not doing much. Hammer Arm, though, this time making the target onto Greninja. Greninja goes down. But now Corsola gets a free something, you know, it does what it wants. Is that a barrier? Is that a Calm Mind? Is that anticipation? The Beast Boost is scary. Buzzwole gaining attack, so we can see that, and Corsola turn that into a Calm Mind. Already has the barrier though, so it can survive that Hammer Arm. Get the Scald, get the burn, and then we still have other Pokemon next to it. And that's an Arcanine. That's the other thing you do. Oh, what's that? You just gained attack? Nope, that attack goes away. And then Guzzlord. Now Guzzlord, not the most scary Pokemon. It can threaten setup. I mean, when you already have a setup Pokemon like the Corsola, it's going to kind of cancel out. We know this Corsola is already a beast. So Arcanine, doesn't get the Will-O-Wisp. These burns aren't sticking in this battle, but that's okay. Hammer Arm on the Corsola. A third? Corsola's fine. Actually, might even be a 4-hit KO at that rate. So there's a Ring Out onto the Arcanine. Doesn't really do much of anything. And there's our Z move. Corsola got the Calm On. And it's gaining more damage on the Z move. Is it looking to execute the Buzzwole? I almost called it Buzzlord. Wow. Like, if this works, that's just ridiculous. Plus, 1 barrier, 1 Calm On, Corsola sweep. Done. This Corsola's good, yo. I don't think the crit mattered. I hate that the crit existed, because then it always leaves the question, but I'm pretty sure it didn't matter. After we saw the damage right there, we saw the boost. Like, the boost would have almost been enough, and then the Z move on top. And then getting that burn damage down onto the Guzzler. Just a little extra. Heavy Slam. It's neutral, so I mean, it can hurt Corsola. Wow, it actually doesn't even hurt Corsola after. The burn Intimidate, too. Huh, I was hoping that there'd be enough weight difference to actually justify a bit more, but didn't happen. And then, like, I don't think you need to Calm Mind either. Like, 2 Scalds is going to be the same as a Scald Calm Mind. Arcanine's providing damage on that Heat Wave. So, even though it's resisted, you chip it, you hurt it, you make sure something can happen. Doesn't Corsola have Shell Armor so it can't get crit? I don't even know Corsola's ability in this situation. Oh yeah, the page up for Corsola from earlier, right. So, Corsola's abilities are Hustle, Natural Cure, Regenerator. Hustle boosts attacks, so there's no reason for that. Natural Cure, maybe. Because then switching out could get rid of Toxic and stuff like that. Or Regenerator just means if you have bad setup, you just switch out, come back in, and you're back to full. So that's something. Corsola with that Regenerator is pretty nice. And then there we go, just kind of tapping down the Guzzlord with the Scald and then finishing off the battle. So those are some crazy Corsola sweeps, mechanics, GG's battle. Wow, I hope you guys enjoyed Fan Fridays for this week. If you will be on Fan Fridays, please comment some battle codes down below. Help all those other things, like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day, have a great week, have a great weekend. I'll see you guys in the next Fan Fridays.